Yo, what's up? Again with the phone dropping. This is the Ant-Man channel. Welcome to it. It is Monday, the 15th of December, 2014. I'm your host, Ant-Man. A little stumbling over my thoughts right here. But anyway, I got an article here that I've been saving since the 11th. It is by Leonardo Blair, who works for Christian Post as a reporter. This is under the columns U.S. ChristianPost.com. Kentucky withdraws $18 million in tax breaks for Noah's Ark project over concerns it will promote Christianity. No. No. Anything but promoting Christianity. We know what happens when we promote Christianity. Blood and guts and burning and as if you could actually claim that that's true and provide evidence for it. But from what I understand, the ones that usually hold to this claim and to this belief are atheists. Now, what's caused more death in the world, religion or atheism? Humanism. I'll let you decide through research. The latest billboard on the Ark Encounter project responds to critics. Thank God you can't sink this ship. That's what the billboard says. That's pretty cool. It's an answersingenesis.org billboard, life-size Ark 2016, announcing it to all of our intolerant liberal friends. Literally says that. Thank God you can. I mean, yeah, that's true. The thing it's funny because that just reminded me of something completely off topic, kind of random, but when I first saw the Titanic movie, I thought that's exactly why that had to happen to that boat, is because in the beginning of the movie, somebody's like, not even God can sink this ship. And it's almost like you're inviting it to happen. But anyway, concerned that the project will promote religion in violation of the separation of church and state provisions of the U.S. Constitution, which is highly misinterpreted. That is a statement made by a classical liberal, and it gets taken out of context so easily, and just because of that one phrase. But people who don't know their history just think that they can use phrases and take them out of context to promote their agenda, and you just can't do that. You can't put up whatever belief system you want behind a face. I certainly wouldn't respect it if somebody was saying that I was, after I'm dead and buried, that I was a Luciferian or something, I'm clearly not, and there's evidence that I'm not. And the same thing goes for people like Einstein and people like the Founding Fathers, who are highly suspect anyway, because they say some things that sound Christian and some things that sound atheist, and the Bavarian Illuminati and whatnot. So sometimes when you think about the old in 1776, like what was really going on there is kind of a mystery, but it's a good mystery, an interesting time to study. Anyway. The state of Kentucky has retracted approximately $18 million in tax incentives for the proposed Noah's Ark theme park in northern Kentucky. Ken Ham's Answers in Genesis, the group behind the $172.5 million project, is now considering a federal lawsuit challenging the decision, according to the Courier Journal. Answers in Genesis had applied for and was granted preliminary approval to participate in a state tax incentive program, which would have allowed them to keep 25% of the sales tax collected at the theme park for 10 years, amounting to more than $18 million. In a recent letter highlighted by the Journal, however, Kentucky's Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet said the Ark Encounter theme park had changed its hiring policy since it first filed for the incentives in 2010 and plans to discriminate in hiring based on religion. Wow. Talk about being hypocritical. Don't they do that? I mean, isn't it you teach creation? Oh, you're a Christian? Oh, we don't allow that. But when we want to run our own institutions, we can't allow we can't run our own businesses the same way that you do, huh? We can't run our own practices the way you do. That sounds a little hypocritical, atheist. I mean, what's up with the open-mindedness and the tolerance and being fair and all that? What's up with that? That doesn't sound fair and tolerant to me. And it sounds like you're just anti-Christian because you don't want us to promote our Christianity. Well, that's like I am a walking advertisement for Jesus Christ. That's just an enough. If you want me to stop promoting Christianity, I gotta be dead then, because it's not gonna happen. Because everything I do is always for the glory of God. even in the mundane things in life, man, like picking up after yourself and stuff like that, being clean, being organized, being. I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so I take that overboard. You call OCD or whatever you want, but um, I just call it, just being excellent. I just like being excellent in everything, and my friends notice it too, and it's funny. We laugh about it all the time. But I am a neat freak. I really am, and this is just so stupid. Like, how can you try to take something out of the Constitution to say that you're doing something unfair when you're the one doing it too? This is out of control, you guys. Like, we can't let people bully us, and especially atheists who have no evidence for what they claim either. And the burden of proof is in their hands. It's on the ball's in their court. They have to do something with it because trying to disprove God is stupid. Like, it's almost like it's just dumb. Like, how are you gonna disprove God, something that you claim doesn't exist anyway? It just seems like a stupid thing to go after, and it's just why? That seems like you're the hateful person. You're driven by hate. You're driven toward because you know what, man. Sometimes ignore when you know what hatred. Sometimes people don't know they hate somebody for a long time. Hatred, realizing you hate somebody, usually takes for you to realize that you've been ignoring that person. That's what hate is when you completely pretend like someone doesn't exist and you don't acknowledge them. That's really what hate is, man. And that's hate. That's hate, man. And that's hate. That we should be if we were like so petty like so many of the atheists are, we would be getting up in arms and saying this is hate crime. But man, we're not as petty as they are to be starting fights, I guess, all the time. But anyways, it's more like people are so used to their, you know what I mean, their narrative on everything. And it's just kind of like fighting an uphill battle, trying to get people to understand what being just is like when you can't be that way. Like you see how the hypocrite doesn't even see that he's a hypocrite. It's mind-boggling, really it is, because it's easy for us to see who discern and know good from evil. But let me get back into this because that just blew my mind right there. Unbelievable that oh you want to discriminate, do you? Let me just paint one more analogy for you. Do people who work for like a certain branch of science hire someone from a different branch? Does somebody who sells cookies hire somebody who is a butcher? Does somebody who runs a photography store hire someone that's into movie reels or something? You know what I'm trying to say? Duh, you're going to want a Christian to run your store if you're a Christian. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard to think that. Why? Why would you? I mean, it just seems to me like it's like, oh, so you're suspecting bad things of other people. Well, yeah. Well, I'm a Christian. I claim that people are sinners. Intrinsically, they're sinning you, and for the most part, I have to take care of me. I know what I'm up against in this world. I'm not stupid and naive. I know that I can be taken advantage of. I need to run my business right, and I'm going to put the right people in charge. Duh. I mean, if the Christian church was really, the Christian church since the first century has always had to deal with apostates, people who try to come into the church and try to teach other doctrines. Same thing is aware with us today, is that we still look out for people that claim to know the same thing as us. We do take them through kind of a test. I know it's unconstitutional to do that with positions of politics and stuff like that, and I understand, but when it comes to our own religion, we're going to get people that are right for the job to do our job, the job that we want them to do. How is that discriminating? That's really just stupid. So if I go to let's say Northrop Grumman right now and I have no experience doing whatever it is they do there, which I know is like a lot of like a lot of machining maybe, or a lot of like planning out and schematics and whatnot being in that field. Knowing I have no experience or training in that, that's like me going over there to look for a job, and then just because I have no training and experience in that, I'm going to go, oh, you're discriminating. Oh, that kind of is the same thing when you think about it. It's like our beliefs are our property. You can't tell us what to do with our property. We have every right to do whatever we want with our property, whether we want to give it away or whether we want to stand for it, whether we want to, continue to stay with it or keep it, no matter what it is, physical or belief or whatever. It's your property. You can't tell people. Oh, this is just. It just gets me kind of like, man, how could people in a court of law get away with this kind of stuff, man? It's amazing. Just goes to show how our justice system is doing today, you guys. In a recent letter highlighted by the Journal, however, Kentucky's Journalism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet said the Ark Encounter theme park had changed. So there you go. It's also noted that the theme park had shifted from being a tourist attraction to an extension of the Answers in Genesis ministry, which teaches a literal interpretation of the Bible. We cannot be teaching people to interpret the Bible literally. No, heaven forbid people actually believe. I mean, it's just amazing. State tourism tax incentives cannot be used to fund religious indoctrination or otherwise be used to advocate or advance religion. Makes me sick, man. Tourism, people will hate you without a cause, Christian. Remember that. Tourism Secretary Bob Stewart noted in the letter the use of state incentives in this way violates the separation of church and state provisions of the Constitution and is therefore impermissible. Well, oh yeah, atheists, you guys are a religion too, and a cult at that. The Kentucky Tourism Development and Finance Authority, which had granted preliminary approval for the incentives in July, requested written assurances that there would be no discrimination based on religion, since Stewart does not recommend the project for the incentives. However, it will not get final approval from the authority. James Parsons, an attorney for Answers in Genesis, said he sent a letter to the cabinet on Monday noting that the state's demands on hiring policies are in violation of both state and federal law. Well, who cares about federal law anyway? If you insist on the newly imposed condition, it will amount to unconstitutional viewpoint discrimination, and my client will have no choice but to seek redress in federal court, noted Parsons. That's all they got is their little sissy lawyer threats, dude. It's just weak. So weak, man. I'm going to take you to court because you're promoting Christianity. What a bunch of petty, miserable guys out there, man, really. Just this week, Answers in Genesis released billboards reacting to the opponents of the Ark Encounter project. Look at what Christians do, and then look at what atheists do. And you tell me who has a better impact on society, and tell me what you rather promote. And let's just be honest with facts and with observance. You know, atheists observing things. You claim to be so scientific and using the scientific methods like your forte. Well, then observe then. Don't just come up with hypotheses based on imaginations and then attach all your science to that worldview, but actually observe things. It takes a lot of studying, I know, and I know you claim to love knowledge, but really act like you hate it, but that's what it takes. It's going to take some honest studying and being honest with yourself and open-minded. And it takes critical thinking and all these magical words that you guys use, but it really, turn it on yourself and take your own advice for a second here. I mean, this really does make me kind of like sick, man. It's just petty nonsense. According to him on the Answers in Genesis blog, the billboards are a response to the massive propaganda campaign from the secularists who have been intent on spreading as much false information as they can against our Ark Encounter project. All with a view to try to stop or undermine the project in some way, the new billboards state, to all our intolerant liberal friends, thank God you can't sink this ship. So anyway, that's the end of that article, and I'll just let you go. Because, I don't want to take up all your time, but, if the atheists were so atheist, then why do they only come after Christians? Because, obviously, when Luciferianism is promoted, when cathedrals host ceremonial masses, or for Satanists, or when a Satanist wants to put up a little Satan monument, at a church or something, we're the atheists, they're nowhere. But, you mean morality? You mean that thing inside that tells me what I'm doing is wrong, but I avoid all the time? You mean no? I could see through all that, the facade. Be honest with yourself out there, and know that God put that conscience in you to help you turn to Him. He wrote His law on your heart, and you know that He exists by looking at the creation. So it's that simple. Anyways, thank you, and God bless.